Our show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
What's up, everyone out there on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram Live? Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB the Sports Guy. We got a good show for you all. In a little bit, we're going to talk about these Hahnville Tigers. Will they get back to the playoffs this upcoming season? Later on, we're going to talk with the head coach of the UNO baseball team, Coach Blake Dean, as they get ready to play in the Southland Baseball Conference Tournament that starts tomorrow. Can't do this alone. Got my good friend that you can find on CrescentCitySports.com, the one, the only, VK Jones. What's up, VK?
What's going on, people? Like, tag, share, and subscribe to the Hash It Out Show on all social media platforms. And also log on to the hashitoutshow.com. Good to be here. Last week of school for everybody this week. So it's good to be here today.
Definitely. Also joining us on CrescentCitySports.com, the one, the only, George Peppers. What's up, George Peppers?
What's going on, gentlemen? And VK, personal congratulations.
All right, moving along,
Moving
VK.
along.
Moving along. Let's get right into it. The Hahnville Tigers. I was able to see the Hahnville Tigers this past Friday night when they hosted Jesuit in their spring game. And I'm going to tell you this as I start this video right quick of the Hahnville Tigers. I'm going to say this, VK. When I walked into Tiger Stadium,
Mhm.
the atmosphere felt different. Just felt different. As in, like, there's a winning attitude around. Like, the culture has changed. Just felt different. I talked to Coach Boyne. I've talked about how hiring Coach Malta Scoble to coach the defense to me was just the icing on the cake. Because everywhere Coach Scoble has been, he's had great defenses. Even at Slidell, he had a great defense. So the culture and the environment and the atmosphere of walking inside Tiger Stadium felt different to me. And I hadn't felt that feeling in such a while. I mean, a while since Coach Valden was there and even Coach Salt when he got them to the state championship game. And I'm not trying to knock Coach Luquette at all because I think he's a great guy. It just didn't work out for him. But VK, being there and seeing the excitement and how the players encouraged each other, they were motivating each other. Jacob Jeffrey, the starting safety, who hadn't played football from what I was told since middle school, came out on the team to try out, and he is the starting safety. and he's out there making noise, motivating his players, being a leader, being a vocal leader. So that was something to see. Like I hadn't seen that in such a long time. And then to watch this spring game, I was highly impressed with Hahnville on both sides of the ball. I was impressed with Jesuit too, but Hahnville, I was impressed. I saw things that I was not expecting to see. So seeing that, I'm telling you, the outlook for Hahnville football looks good right now. We still got summer workouts and we still got practice in the fall. That has to happen. So they're only going to get better from here on out. But I'm telling you, VK, what I saw Friday, things are looking up.
I can definitely see that. Definitely see that. Seen a lot of the spring game and stuff like that. I might have to pass you my YouTube premium account a little bit, so you want to had a little thing, but it is what it is. But regardless of the fact, looking at it, the Hahnville Tigers, yes. I mean, I see a lot of improvement. A lot of improvement. Then on top of that, a lot of intensity that we've not seen in a long time. A lot
Yeah,
of intensity for Hahnville. And it's good to see that early, especially with Coach Boyne bringing in a good game plan, bringing in some kind of new type of energy, but not just that, more of a getting back to what Hahnville used to be. So I think that was really good. I was really floored with Jesuit myself
mm-hmm.
because when you told me they have a new type of offense that they're doing, and they're basically going like fast break type
Fast pace.
of
Yeah.
you know, and like you said, and I think you said Scott Bain's father is still
No,
the OC. He's not there
no,
no more.
he's the assistant AD now. He's not even coaching.
Oh, he's not on staff no more. Okay,
Mm-mm.
that's
Assistant AD.
interesting. So whoever's the new offensive coordinator, that's going to be interesting to see with the Jesuit Blue Jays. I mean, it's been a minute since we see the Jesuit Blue Jays in a more pass first type offense, and that's going to be interesting. And I like the plays that they made, but then Hahnville, I mean, you look at the intensity, the speed that they got, and everything. I'm looking forward to see this product and what they can bring to the regular season.
Yeah.
I really want to see it. I'm curious what their schedule is
I'm gonna
coming
get to
up
that.
this year.
I'm gonna get to that later on. I got that
Yeah.
schedule. I got it. I'll
Okay.
get to that in a
Good.
little bit.
Good. Good.
I
Because I
wanna
because I
go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
because I
My
know
bad.
we've been talking, trying to maybe get them on the Hash It Out Show game of the week, but I know we would have to catch them when they're on the road somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and they are. But I tell you, that's a good sign of what we're seeing here. We're just hoping, I'm just hoping more than anything else. Not meaning to say me and you, but we seen Hahnville being great in the past, but it's something else when it's been a while since you've seen that. If they can bring that to the regular season and start off a fresh, start off really well, I can see that Destrehan and Hahnville game probably for the first time in a long time being a very intense ball game for 4 quarters, and it could come down to the wire. And it's the first time we will have that type of game in a long time in that rivalry, and that's what the rivalry really, really needs right now. It's just been so
It's
one
not a
sided.
rivalry.
It
It's not a
exactly,
rivalry right now.
exactly. It's been one sided for the last 10 years. So
I think at the last 11 or 12 years, one
11,
won one
12
once.
years.
Yeah, one won once.
This reminds me so much, and I hate to say this, and I'm gonna be in this, and it's the truth. It reminds me of St. Rummel when J. Roth took over the program, and he wins, and J. Roth wins 12 straight games on the Purple Knights before he loses his first game to St. Aug in the second round of the playoffs, and I believe that's 1998. Before that, the year before St. Aug went to the semis.
Let me say
And
this before. Let me say
right.
this. We get in before I pass to George Peppers. So when a college scout is out here and he sits there and says Coach Boyne is going to change this, he's going to get Hahnville back to where it's supposed to be. This is a college scout that told me this. I'm not going to say his name, but he told me this. And Coach Boyne is a Hahnville graduate. He's an alumnus. So he knows the ins and outs of Hahnville High School. He knows this. Number two, let's talk about some of these players they have. I talked about Jacob Jeffrey, the free safety, number two. I think Hahnville has the most underrated running back in the state in Calvin Smith Jr. The dude is about 6 feet 6'1", and he is stocky, about good 210 pounds. You ain't taking him down with one person. And he got speed. You need 1 yard, he can get you that 1 yard. Heavily impressed with Calvin Smith Jr. with the way he was running the other day. They have a quarterback battle between two quarterbacks. One is Bennett Naquin, and I don't remember the other guy's name. They got a good linebacker in Tylen Kalili. I think I said his name right. If I didn't, I truly apologize. And you have Kobe Lewis as the tight end / wide receiver. He's about good 6'2", 6'3". So they have talent. They always have talent. So my question is, will Hahnville get back to the playoffs this year? I will answer that later. But I also want to say, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let George Peppers come here. Go ahead, George Peppers. You get your words in.
We're talking about Hahnville like they're the second coming, right? Immediately, right? New coach, new energy, new enthusiasm, new optimism, all the superlatives you can think of, right?
Yep.
It's still a team in transition. Let's pump the brakes. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. You were there, Jared. I was not. I'm looking at the video as you are as well, but you being live on site, different perspective. Yes, they have a pretty good array of talent on that roster. It's gonna take time. It's still Destrehan's house. Um, but if we're gonna base Hahnville's resurgence on one scrimmage, let's pump the brakes. Let's see how they go in camp, and let's see how they do in the fall scrimmage and a jamboree. Look, they're gonna be better than the
But
last
this
few
is
years.
against a good Catholic League
I
school
was
that's
getting ready.
in playoffs every year.
I was getting ready to say that there was a quality opponent. That's a good litmus test. Granted, but I don't know who their jamboree usually run up. Who do they run up in their jamboree? I know it's the River Parishes jamboree, but I don't remember how it's formulated. Who they're going to run
It
into?
hasn't been River Parish Jamboree for quite a couple of years now. Hahnville had a jamboree last year. I think they got it again this year. I know they played West
Hmm.
last year. This year, I don't know who they playing yet. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have that off the top, and I'm looking at this federal government energy, whatever this is, but that's a commercial. Gotta love YouTube. With that said, look, that was an impressive array there. The thing is, they can be second best. They can take their place. And like VK said, the game with Destran obviously is the acid test for them. Why? Because it's Destran's district. They've ruled it for how many years now? I don't a good
Long.
bit,
Yeah.
right? Okay. With that being said, this Tiger team's not going to disappoint. I think I'll say it right now, based on what your observations. I trust your observations implicitly. You are very astute in what you watch, and know what you see. And I think this is a playoff team this year. Do I think they're a district title contender? Hold on. Let this fan come back to the pack a little bit. That's still their house.
I'm going to say this. Before I let VK get back in here. Hahnville football should be a quarterfinal team every
Every
year.
year.
Every
Yep,
year.
I agree.
Them and Destrehan. Every year they should be a quarterfinal team. No, we should not be seeing Hahnville football not make the playoffs. I mean, they didn't make it for the first time in what, over 20 something plus years? That is
Something like
unheard
that.
of. This school,
Crazy.
yeah, this school is supposed to be a perennial power every year. Now, it's hard to make the quarterfinals every year. It's not easy. I know that, but when you think of the talent that has been at that school and has played there, look, Hornville should be there every year. Now, I'm not saying Coach Boyne is going to get there his first year. It's going to take some time, and the people got to be patient and just understand everything takes steps. Okay, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. That Hornville will be back where they're supposed to be. VK, your thoughts?
Well, you said about the running back. Is the running back a little bit bigger than Alfred Blue? If he's a little bit bigger and as
The
fast as
thing,
Alfred Blue,
the thing
you know what I'm
is,
saying?
Alfred Blue was a 6'3". He was tall. He a little bit shorter, but he's stockier. He's stockier. He's
Right.
210.
Thicker.
Yeah, he's 210. Alfred Blue is just taller. Alfred Blue is about what? About a good 200, 210 also, but he was taller. This
So
boy is 6 feet,
so
six
pretty
one.
much so pretty much it's kind of a mix between um
Jasper Park. Jasper Park at Shaw reminds me of Alfred Blue.
okay, Jasper Park. I'm thinking with it's almost a mix between maybe uh the running back that came out of Covington. That was really, really good. That he went against I forgot his name. He went against Puka in the playoffs, and he was really, really, really good. And then the mix between him and maybe Leonard Fournette just a little bit with their size, 6'1", stocky. That's a really good sign there, especially if they got the speed and the breakaway speed and the power. That's a deadly combination.
DJ. His name is Calvin Smith Jr. And from what I was told, the only offer he has is southeastern Louisiana.
Wow. I think
So
I
Not a
look
bad one though.
not a bad one
not a
at
bad
all.
one. Not a bad one at all. No, no, no.
I mean,
Not
Frank Selfo coaches a wide open offense. It would be a good fit if he was to go there, but
I,
obviously he's got to play the season out and see what
true.
happens.
But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. As a power back, universities that still run like a 12 formation, one back, two tight ends.
Hmm.
I can see him rolling in that type of offense. I can really see it for Calvin Smith Jr. I mean,
What
man,
is his grade? What is his grade? He's a sophomore,
he's
junior.
gonna be a senior. He's gonna be a senior.
He's going to be a
Wow.
senior, so this is boom or bust. Yeah,
Yeah.
if he's gonna get on the radar, he's gonna have to explode early.
Well, he
And
started. He
Hahnville's gonna
started.
have to
He
be
started. He started last year. He was started last year,
right.
and people were saying. I heard people say this. That's the best running back in the state. And I was like,
Oh, that's a heck of a praise.
I was like, okay, maybe y'all see something I don't see. I didn't see him play last year, but I saw this here.
Nope.
And I was like, most underrated running back in the state. Not getting the
More
type of
accurate.
not getting the type of publicity and everything like that. But that kind of do happens when you're not having winning programs. That kind of do happens, unfortunately. But this guy, Calvin Smith Jr., is a force to be reckoned with. Now, before we move on, let's answer some of these questions right quick. Lanaj says, "What about John Eric?" Well, me and George saw them for the spring
Yes,
game.
we
They
did.
they got some work to do. They got some work to do.
Some. You being nice. You are being extremely nice, sir.
Some improvement to do. That's why they got summer and they still got the
Plenty.
fall. I still think they win their district, but they got some work to do.
Yeah, they'll win their
They,
district. I hate to say it, they'll win their district by default. By default. Let's be a little
let's
real
just
here.
let's just see what
Let's be
happens.
real.
Let's see what happens. You don't
I
know
might.
yet. They lost.
Let,
They lost a lot.
they did
They
lose
did.
a lot. The only thing is, the only team I see in that district that will give them competition is probably Bonneville and maybe is East Jeff in their district again?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
Yes.
probably them two, and that's it. Nobody else. It's
All
all
right.
I know. Possibly the worst thing that happened to this district is Chalmette leaving and Warren Easton not being in the district.
All right.
So it's bad. Just saying.
All right.
Okay.
Let's move on right quick. Let's talk about Hahnville's schedule. Let me tell you who they have. Week 1, Booker T. Washington, New Orleans. Week 2, McMain. It's all at home. Week 3, they travel to E.D. White.
Oh,
Week 4 is when they start district play. They
Hmm.
start off with the Terrebonne Tigers, who finished in second place last year. And Terrebonne is said to be very good again this year. Week 5, HL Bourgeois. Week 6, at Thibodeau. Week 7, Central Lafourche comes to town. Week 8, at East St. John. Week 9, at Destrehan. Week 10, at Lakeshore. The question I ask myself is, will they be in the playoffs this year? I think they will. The schedule starts off good. I think week 1 and 2 they get the wins. I think Edie White will be a battle with them. What do y'all think?
That's going to be a great ball game. That is going to be a litmus test for both teams, especially for Hahnville going into a hostile environment. And Edie White, who has been really, really good, Colin Sane is going to have that team ready to go. Probably one of the biggest games they're probably going to have at home in a long, long time. Welcoming a 5A power from the River Parish to Thibodeau. That is going to be an unbelievable game. Expecting probably standing room only in that ball game because I know Hahnville's going to bring their fans to that place. It's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. I think that's going to be a game that could come down to the wire.
GP?
Hash it out. Show game of the week, week 3.
Edie White streak
No,
win
you
all
white
day.
streams.
Oh,
Those
Yeah,
are the
doggone it.
home
Oh,
games.
well, swing and a miss.
But do they play at Terrebonne? You said, or they host
no,
Terrebonne?
Terrebonne comes to Hahnville.
Terrebonne's going to them.
East Saint at East Saint John's going to have to be the target. It's
Yeah,
going
I'm
to
with
have
you
to
Okay.
on
be the
that one.
target.
Yeah, I'm with you on that
Yes.
one.
All right, I'm with you there too. But as far as the schedule, look, it's very friendly in the first 2 weeks. And this is not disrespecting the New Orleans schools, but they're not depth, friendly. Booker T and McMain. McMain, especially after a year off, if I remember right, they didn't play
Yeah.
ball last year
Yeah.
with the penalties and all that stuff that they accrued. They were on probation. 80% of their program shut down last year. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's gonna take a lot. That's gonna be 2 wins for them. Then they get Edie White, like you guys say. It is the first big test for them, and to really see. And this is not a rebuild at Hahnville. I think it's more kind of fine tuning things where, you know. And look, I don't want to dog
It's
on
really,
coach.
I won't say rebuilding. I'm going to say it's having them believe that they can win. It's getting a winning
Yeah, putting
attitude
that putting
back at
that belief
Hahnville.
in them.
Yes.
Right, and it's nothing against Daniel Luquette. Look, to me, at the end of the day, it was a square peg and a round hole fit. I don't think his coaching acumen fit what they do in the river parishes. I think it's more, areas. Some areas like to go power base, some areas go wide open. And Daniel is a good coach. I mean, he's a good coach. I just don't think schematically it worked down there, and it took them some time, but they never really got a foothold. Now with Coach Boyne, it's a new voice, new energy. Look, that district schedule is what it is. Terrebonne's going to be tough. Destrehan, East St. John. Um, the Lafourches are going to be interesting.
Hmm.
Especially who was it that made, was it Central that made the playoffs last year? I think one of them made the playoffs, if I remember right. I can't remember who. But look, that River Parish district is always a test. There are some. I mean, Bourgeois is going to be all right, I guess. But at the end of the day, Hahnville could finish somewhere in the neighborhood of 6-4, 7-3, and that, along with a playoff win, would be considered a first year success. I think something like that.
I agree.
But again, we're only talking about basing this off of one scrimmage in May. Let's see what happens around fall camp and jamborees, and I know we'll be aggressively hitting up jamborees come August. Whichever one we could find and find videos and stuff. If we can't make it there, Hash It Out Show is going to be on site on a couple of them. But Hahnville VK, I think is going to be an interesting commodity. I think 7-3 is the max that they could get. I don't know if they beat Destrehan. I'm not sure they beat Terrebonne, even though they lost the that outstanding receiver Lewis, the one that went to LSU.
You talking about
But
The the, rec- the good receiver from the
I know you
Terrebonne that went.
talking about
I can't
Billy.
get it. That's
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah,
That's him.
yeah.
They lost him, so there's a little bit of a thing there. They're gonna have to find a new ace in the hole there. Destrehan, look, Destrehan is Destrehan. East St. John. Here's the thing with East St. John: when you talk about the district, they kind of slipped on a few things last year. Games they were supposed to win, they didn't. Um, They still had a good record, but there were a game or two that you were like, oh, dog, they should have won this.
Yeah.
Nope. So
I want to
Hahnville has an opportunity.
answer somebody on Instagram. My Instagram is not frozen, but it's not letting me get to it right quick. I don't know why, but the real Teddy asks about John Eric's schedule. So week 1, Chalmette comes to town. Week 2, they go to Vanderbilt Catholic. Week 3, they go to Landry. Week 4, Bird comes to John Eric.
Oh
Week
boy,
5, they go to Kennedy. That could be another game of
automatic win.
passing out your game of the week. Week 6, they start district with Riverdale, then at Bonneville, East Jeff comes, at Higgins, and at West Jeff. And really, that's still sort of a
Wait, wait,
neutral
wait,
game.
wait, 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 wait. They play West Jeff week 10.
Yep, finally.
Yeah, bring it back.
Oh
Week
my
10. Yes,
God.
sir.
Hallelujah.
Yes,
For
sir.
the first time in over, I asked this to Reggie Rogers last year and to Sheena Smith. Will we ever get West Jeff and Eric back to week 10? And now with the new district, they have done it. Congratulations. Finally.
Okay.
But the biggest
I,
thing now is, can West Jeff get it together? That's all I know.
nope, they won't. Let me from what was told to me and Jared last week at the scrimmage about West Jeff, the the turmoil's still there. DJ, one thing. Who's playing Everett in the fall? Hold on.
35. 35.
In a scrimmage?
Yeah, regular scrimmage. Yeah.
Is
Okay. Oh, right.
so they go to Bird, you said?
No, Bird
No,
comes
Bird's
down to
coming to
them.
West Jeff. Bird's coming to us.
Ooh,
Long
that
road
could
trip
be
weekend. Okay.
that could be another game
For the
on the
both of you,
list.
You
man,
say,
that's
Jim?
got to be better than.
Yes.
Let me
Maybe.
ask you both.
Maybe. Let's get back. Go ahead.
Let me. This district is a walkover in your eyes for Eric, right? They'll win 5 games of the non-district games that they have on that schedule. Look them up. How many can Eric win? Both of you.
District?
Non-district.
Out of the district.
Oh, 9 district
Take
for
the.
John Eric?
No, they'll win the district. Yeah.
Woo. Yeah.
Non-district game.
Ah, boy.
Kennedy's replacing
I,
people.
no, Kennedy gonna beat him.
Kennedy.
Kennedy beats
They
him.
will.
Kennedy
Kennedy's gonna
beats
be
him.
winning.
Landry won't.
I
Landry
don't
won't.
think Landry will. I
Vanderbilt
think
Catholic
Chalmette
won't.
beats. I think Chalmette beats him. I say Vanderbilt Catholic no, and then I'll say Bird.
Long
Bird
road
Bird.
gonna
trip, no.
That offense Bird runs it's gonna be hard though to stop.
It's a
yeah,
wing T kind of offense.
Yeah.
I think Bird will probably win that game, to be honest. Because I don't know if Eric is gonna be ready for that type of offense that they're going against. And Bird is a very good and experienced program in postseason. These
They weren't
guys,
good last year.
well, they had one of those rare lean years.
Down
You know what
year,
I'm
yeah.
saying? One of them rare lean years for Bird. Then on top of that, they had to play on the road almost all year because their stadium was getting constructed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
All right. Back to
We shall
Hahnville.
see.
Back to Hahnville. Back to Hahnville.
yes.
That's what we're talking about. We get back to them. Your thoughts on Greg Boyne making a change to get it back to where it was?
I think Coach Boyne is going to do a great job at Hahnville. I think they hired the right person, and I ain't gonna lie, I didn't realize it till later on, till he told me, and then you told me, oh, he's a Hahnville. He went to Hahnville. I was like, oh wow. So
My boy Nas 1K. He plays the John Eric offense. He's a starter. I can't think of his name, but he says the first 5 they winning. That's what's up. That's the attitude.
I like the confidence.
No, y'all
I like the
laughing. I'm
confidence.
not laughing.
No, I'm not laughing either, but I like the confidence.
I like the attitude. I like the attitude. That's what you need
I
to
like the
have.
confidence,
Yes.
though.
And like I always say, if y'all prove me wrong, I'm more than happy for y'all prove me wrong.
They should be in no position to go bravado. After what we saw last week against a Shaw team that I think is a bona fide
I don't think
contender,
it's I don't think it's bravado. It's confidence.
overconfidence. Let me throw
No, I'm
that
not
out
gonna
there.
say that.
I
I can
will.
see,
You're not gonna George, you're not gonna walk around and be like,
I
oh yeah,
can
we're
see
gonna
what
lose this game. No, you're gonna be like, we winning.
I,
That's how you're
I
supposed to be.
I can see what George is come. I see what both sides is at. I like the dude's confidence a bit. I kind of
Me
chuckled a
too.
bit, but I like the confidence because okay, cool. You got an attitude of all right, we want to try and handle our business. Cool. I like that. You know, I see where George is coming from. George is like, you need to humble yourself because you have work to do. The thing is, when you
Well,
look at the film, you just hope that motivates you to be ready for those first five because with the I think what George is talking about as and not just a arid alumnus but an
Analyst.
analyst saying that wait a minute, I don't like what I see on this field. Can you compete?
before we get
You
back
know, that's all it is.
to VK with Hahnville, I'm just going to say this. Say this. He didn't say
You don't
nothing.
want that smoky thing.
He didn't say nothing wrong. That's how he's supposed to act. We, as the host and co-host of this show, we pick games and we pick who's gonna win and who we think is gonna lose. Like we just saw the first five. That's what we thought. And that's our personal opinion. He has every right, and he's supposed to think like that. He's
I
supposed
agree.
to think like that. We're going 5-0. And I want them, to do their
You
best.
know,
I want them, Kennedy, every New Orleans area team.
all the New Orleans teams to
We
do
really
good.
do. Yes.
Let me throw this out there. Aaron's district is so woefully weak. They better win a majority of those non-districts to grab power points because guess what? They could be 7-3, 8-2 with no losses in the district and still have to scratch out a potential home game. If they could win the the important ones, the Kennedy, if they could beat them, if they beat Chalmette's a swing game right out the Chalmette's the swing game first week of the season at Memphis, right? It's a
Seldom.
potential hash it out field game of the
Seldom.
week.
Seldom. I said y'all would beat Landry and Vanderbilt. That's what I said. I didn't say y'all lose to them. I said y'all would beat them. I said Chalmette. I see Eric losing to Chalmette and Kennedy. And I say Bird, I would go Bird too, just for that type of offense. But I didn't say y'all would lose. Eric would lose to Landry and Vanderbilt.
They
VK,
won't.
yeah.
Mhm.
VK, get
Well,
back to Harville. Back to Harville.
yes.
Eric
Back to
Bourne.
Harvey. Back to Harvey. I really think with Boyne, being hired, I think, I was like, uh-oh, Destrehan, somebody who had been in Destrehan for a minute, all of a sudden, now the mole kind of a little bit now is in Hahnville. And he knows something about what Destrehan does. So I really think that game is going to be interesting regardless of the record because Boyne wants to bring winning intensity and everything else back to Hahnville. So
Yes.
I tell you one thing, this is gonna be interesting to see. I like the Boyne high, and I think Boyne is gonna do a good job. And also, he's reaching the community already. They're doing camps over the summer, so it just shows right then and there. He see what the problem is in Hahnville, especially the last couple of years, and he's hitting the ground running.
George.
When you look at this Hahnville team, the first two games are afterthoughts. And no disrespect intended to Booker T and McMahon, but Hahnville on talent should roll those games. You know what those two games are going to be? Fine tunes. That's what they're going to do. They're going to work out some kinks because it's a new system in a game situation. And Edie White in week 3, that's going to tell us a lot of where this season may go. Because that Edie White team is a state semifinalist at that time. They have they gone to I think no final. Yeah, they did, right? Didn't they go to a
Yeah, a couple
final
years
They
ago.
didn't
and
know the
Yeah.
lose?
final. Yes,
Yes.
they
Right.
did. They
They
lost.
So
lost. Yeah.
it's a perennial Bayou power. They have now entered that status, Edie White. And for Hahnville, if they are to go on the road in that crazy house down there, that is an absolute zoo. Their fans are on top of you. They're passionate. If Hahnville could go into that environment and win that game, that's going to speak a lot of what Coach Boyne's belief and the system in place is going to do. Does that mean room penetration? No, it does not mean this one is a huge swing. I would say Edie White would be if you're picking like who wins the game. Your first thought is well, the Cardinals is a better team. Hornville's the unknown commodity, and let's see how the summer camp and and the fall and the scrimmage and the jamboree, how they set up that that is an interesting school. I think the record I gave you guys earlier fits. I think 7-3 feels like where they're going to be this year. They'll be a playoff team, and maybe draw a matchup where they could score a win in a playoff game, and then ultimately run into one of the top 4 or 5 seeds and go out. That's kind of where I see
Okay,
Hahnville this year, but that's a building block, though.
it's a building block, but
Yes.
we got to remember also we can't take this for granted. Terrebonne finished second last year. East St.
Yes,
John
they did.
finished third, and one of those games when Hornville got called off due to an unfortunate incident. So
Yep.
the thing is now you saying 73. They pretty much got to beat East St. John and a Terrebonne to make that happen, pretty much, or beat one of them. If you
One
say
of those two games they'll win.
Edie White pitch challenge, go ahead.
I feel like one of those two games they can win. Which one is it? I think I would lean towards, I would lean towards East St. John because East St. John is maddeningly wild. I mean, we saw them, me and VK saw them last year dominate Thibodeau on the Hash Show. It was the last minute Hash Show game of the week because of the incident with Carver and Kennedy. We got to see the best of East St. John, but then they seem to have tailed off. They seem to tail off on the back end of things last year, and really just there was an inexcusable loss. I can't remember who popped them late. I think Hahnville can go into Keller and win
Terrebonne
that
popped them
game.
late. That's how Terrebonne finished second.
It sure
Terrebonne
did.
beat
Terrebonne's a better team than Hahnville last year. Let's not overstate that. They were a better football team than Hahnville last
I'm
year, and
saying
they
Terrebonne
showed
beat
you.
East St. John. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's who got East St. John.
Yeah,
But you know, with East St. John's talent pool, you would have thought they were the deeper team, the better team, and they lost at home to that Terrebonne team. That's why I feel like the East St. John game where Hahnville may catch the fish and win it. Maybe. And they'll win the other district games. The Destrehan one, I don't think they win. One or two of the East St. John Terrebonne, they won't win. But again, if they get confidence, look, confidence is a train. If it gets going, they might be a hard matchup to fool with. I don't know if you want to catch Hahnville late because they're going to be better late than they will early
I'll say
because
this.
they will have acclimated themselves to the system and they'll be
I'll,
better.
I'll say this. Remember, we was pushing so hard for Destrehan and Terrebonne when Terrebonne defeated East St. John, and now they had a chance to take the district lead with the win against Destrehan, and that turned out not so well for Terrebonne
No, it
that
didn't.
game. Because right there, DJ once said, "Lay the egg in Destrehan." Well, I ain't gonna say lay the egg. Is just Destrehan was just so much better. I'm gonna say this because Hahnville versus Destrehan rivalry, man. That was a game I never missed, no matter where it was. It was at Hahnville. It was at Destrehan. And right now, due to the fact that to me, it's not a rivalry because Destrehan has been winning. If Hahnville plays Destrehan, and let's say they play it close, a tight ball game, win or
Uh,
lose, I think that is the start of the rivalry getting back to where it was. Tight ball game, they lose by a touchdown or less. To me, that's showing okay, now it's getting back to where it was, how it used to be. And it's gonna say a lot for the Hahnville Tigers. Because remember, that game was always standing room only. Nowhere to sit in the bleachers, people along the fence on the track watching the game.
that game's at Destrehan this year, right?
It is, but this is, I'm saying, for both stadiums.
It,
That's
it's
how it
all
was.
Sure.
it's always because the first time I ever been, a friend of mine was a Hahnville graduate. He was like, "Man, come over there." I'm like, "All right." So I come there for the first time, and he said, "Whatever you do, please get here before 5. Please get here before. Don't get
And they will
don't
pack
go in
that
at
place.
5:30 because you have to get a parking spot, and then on top of that, you gotta try to get in that stadium and get your seat."
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
they don't play no games for this one, bro. They take it
that's
serious.
how
And
it
I
was.
started going with Jared, and man, it was festive like I don't know what, man. So I'm hoping they get back to that because that is a great rivalry in itself, and it needs to get back to the way it needs to be.
Let me answer somebody from Instagram. I'm not able to type down on Instagram. I don't know what happened. I was trying to post the schedule for Eric for somebody on that, and it just I can't type that right now. But S9, the quarterback for John Eric. What's up, buddy? He's asking what we thought about the John Eric spring game against Shaw. To be honest with you, y'all got some improvement to do. Y'all got a lot to work on to get better right now. And I me and George would sit here and say we think Shaw dominated the entire scrimmage from start to finish. Y'all did get a long touchdown pass on the second string. Y'all did do that. Got a couple runs, couple passes for first down. But other than that, on both sides of the ball, we think that John Everett has a lot of improving to do. And also, we still think that you guys will win your district. We still believe that. But we think y'all got a lot of work to do. You agree, George? I know you do.
I mean, you did tell me after the game, after the scrimmage, you kind of sarcastically went at me and said, Bonneville's confident, Bonneville's this and that. Just messing with my head, like putting, trying to plant seeds of doubt. Look, listen,
Oh, I wasn't
John
trying to
Aaron,
play
I'm
season
telling,
dogs. I saw what they put on social media, what they saying about how they got to the
I
playoffs.
know, but you
Yeah, I'm
don't,
just saying
you
what they
don't,
were saying.
you don't win games on IG or Facebook or you or any of that stuff. You don't win games
Well,
in the social media circles, right?
well, well,
But
well, Bonneville made postseason last year, so
they
remember
did,
that.
and it got skull dragged last year too by Alexandria, right?
Yeah, but
They got to the postseason.
they
They
still
did.
made it, and they beat
But who
their
remembers a
rival for
first
the
round
first
loss?
time in almost 10 years. So
We
that's
talking
some
about
True.
we talking
progress.
about Hahnville getting back to the playoffs for the first time after not making it. I think if
Yeah.
that happens, that's great. Bonneville
But
getting to the
no,
playoffs is also great.
The steps, baby.
but my thoughts are the scrimmage and the young quarterback for John Aaron is going to be a sophomore next year.
Right,
All
he's young.
right. He's got some growing to do. What I did see, Jared, on plays where he took off because his offensive line was simply offensive, and I'm just going to call it I can see it. That offensive line was woeful. There were guys from Shaw living in the backfield when Eric would go back to pass. There were guys camping out. I saw recliners. I saw barbecue pits. I saw all kind of stuff. I'm being exaggerated, but man, that Everett offensive line, they're gonna miss Kyrie and Lee, the offensive tackle that went to LSU. They're gonna miss him. Boy, will they miss him because that left tackle spot. I don't know who's gonna start, but young man, you better hit the weights and get some get off, man. I mean, because Shaw's guys were doing some work, but the quarterback for Everett, S9, I forget his name, but
Got his name too.
my friend from school was touting him up to me, and I'm like, man, he's got a bullet arm. He does have a live arm,
Mm-hmm.
really live arm. He's got decent feet, but again, he's going to be a sophomore. Let's remember that. This Aaron team is going to be much younger than they have been in the last few years. A lot of transition. They lost a lot. Clargo, Mac, you know, Lee. I mean, look, this Aaron team's going to be good in district, but what does it say if they don't win a game in non-district? What if this is 2022 all over again? 0-5 in the non-district, and then they run district over 5-0.
Ooh,
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
don't think that's going to happen because
I
they're
don't think
better
so.
than a couple of teams. I don't think. Yeah, I agree. I don't think so. I think they beat Landry. I think they beat Vanderbilt. I look, I'm going to disagree with both of you. I think they get Bird. I
Okay.
do. I think, and because of the bus ride, for one, and for two, Bird, they had a lean year last year. I don't know what they've got coming back. Guessing they're going to be a year older and a year wiser because they were a pretty young team, but still, I think the difference is they've got to take the 6 hour trip to West Jeff, and I think that Eric by that point will know what they're going to be. They won't be Kennedy. Chalmette. I want to say we win that game, but I don't. Chalmette's got some bruises on that team. I'm not even at West Jeff, and they beat the brakes off of Eric last year at Memphis. We were at that game last year, the three of us. They whipped Eric pretty soundly in that second half. But at the end of the day, I think John Eric can be 8-2, 7-3. I don't know. I mean,
Look,
8-2, 7-3.
I can see 73. First five, 2-3, then you win your five district games.
Right.
I can definitely
Yeah,
see
you
that.
ransacked the district. Sure.
I'm like this. If Bird comes into week 3 undefeated, and the thing is, we got to see how Bird's first 2 games is. If they got some good wins on that schedule, and if Eric beats them, that's going to be huge for Eric going forward because that's huge power
Mhm.
points going to them.
Well, DJ13 say what else? Who else we talk about tonight? Well, we're supposed to have UNO head coach on, but he is sick. He won't be able to join us. So right now we're gonna talk about John Ehret. We're gonna talk about John Ehret right now. Oh
Well, what
man,
about you? Went to some other scrimmages last week, Jared. I know I was with you on
I did.
Wednesday with Aaron. Talk about some of the other
I
scrimmages.
will.
Let's talk about.
I want to talk about Ehret for a little bit more. Then
Okay,
I'll get to John F. Kennedy. I'll get to them. But let's talk about Ehret for a little bit more.
all
Go ahead.
right.
You on the money with John Ehret. Go ahead.
Who me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, me. I mean, look, I saw a Shaw team against Aaron, and with the exodus of power teams out of Division Two, with St. Thomas More leaving, Turling's leaving, going to Division One, Lafayette Christian dropping to three inexplicably. I don't know why, but that's
Uh-huh.
another story for another day.
Yeah.
Um, Shaw, if y'all not in, if you guys don't make the dome this year, I consider it a colossal disappointment. I think Shaw should be in the Superdome this year. Who you will play, I don't know. But with that said, you got a tough district. St. Charles joins your district now, I think.
Hmm. Yep.
So that's going to be a very tough opponent. They have proven to be a very tough group. Um, but the interesting thing with them is how do they deal with what happened last year in the dome? They had the championship in their hands and they lost it. But back to Eric.
Yeah. Back to Ehret. Yes.
There's the key to Eric's season is the non-district. I cannot stress it enough. They've got to win the swing games. The two swing games I see on that non-district are Chalmette and Bird. I'm not sure they beat Kennedy. And you said Landry and Vanderbilt. I think they beat both of them. So Chalmette and Kennedy and Bird are the swing games. If they could win both those games, and if they lose to Kennedy and they'll beat the other two, if they could beat Chalmette and Bird, and if their only loss is Kennedy, 9-1 is the max they can get. At that point, VK, I would imagine that's a top 8 seed, even with the crap district that they're playing in. The real lack of talent in that district. And if you're going to get Eric, you better get him this year because a lot of those kids are young. 2026, 2025 might be very interesting at 4300 Patriot Street. Not so much this year, but next year they might be some problems, cause problems.
I can agree. I could definitely agree. I could definitely agree that if it's time to get Eric, you get him this year. But I think those two games are going to be so key. If they can get the win against Chalmette and Bird, huge power points in that one. And then it just depends with Vanderbilt Catholic. If they come out with a good start themselves, that'd be another power points win. So that will help. That will look like the Eric team of a couple of years ago, where and when I was definitely dead wrong on the year that they had a really good non-district record, and the district was so weak that non-district record helped them so much that they got a 2 seed in the playoffs, but they wound up losing to East St. John in the second round.
Yeah. Remember,
So,
that show we
Yep.
did, and I told y'all that
mhm.
y'all was coming at me saying I was scary. I mean, not scary. I'm crazy.
Well, I was wrong. I was man enough to
You
say,
and Deshaun Dumas was wrong.
yeah. Hey, we were man enough to say that because I was man enough
Humble
to
pie,
say,
baby.
yeah, it was big time humble by George was like, you put the gree on us. I knew it.
Exactly.
So you know,
That
but
black
I
crowd
really,
hit Keller Stadium. That's why we lost.
but I think with the non-district, I hope it helps Eric down the line because this district here is not really the best of whatever. I know Bonnable is going to be really improved this year. It should be very interesting when they play Eric, but it's just going to be nobody else. East Jeff might be improved under Coach Glover. I can
What
definitely
about
say that
Riverdale?
with Rip. Now I'm gonna say this: Riverdale is they're back in the regular district with them.
They back in this district.
Yes.
Yes, they're back with this district here
Wow.
with John
And they
Ehret.
got a
Okay.
new coach. They got a new coach in
Yes.
Wallace
Yes.
Foster
Wallace
Senior.
Wallace
Foster.
Foster Senior. I want to see what they have because they made the playoffs last season and for them to transition to this year under Coach Wallace, I'm looking forward to, and I'm wondering what their non-district is because I know all three of us or two of us or whatever need to go check out a
I
couple of
got
their
I got
non-districts because
Riverdale's schedule right here. You ready?
yeah,
They host Patrick Taylor week 1. They go to
okay,
Haynes week 2. They go to Pope John Paul the second week 3. They host Crescent City, and then they go to Newman for week 5. And then
3-2.
they have John Everett. They have the at John Everett host Higgins, at West Jeff, at East Jeff, and then they host Bonneville.
interesting with that one. And looking at that, I can see where Coach Foster's coming from with the schedule is trying to get more of like confidence boosting wins early. You know, you don't want too many of them, but I get it because this is your first year as a head coach. So, you know, I think they
And
could
that
go
schedule could have
three
been
and
in
two.
place last year.
Yeah, probably so. And
Yeah.
you're probably right. The Newman game is going to be a huge test for them on the road to prepare them for the district. I'm just looking forward to seeing what they got. But Eric, you know, like I said, no doubt in my mind, they'll win a district by default. But if they do well in the non-district, and I'm talking about not just do well and win, but play very well, they could make a not bad run. We'll see what happens.
I want to say this about John Everett because I say they got to improve on a line, and it's mainly the offensive line and defensive line. Offensive line had trouble blocking. Defensive line gave up a lot of runs, a lot of good runs to Shaw, and even when Shaw was passing, they had trouble getting to the quarterback. They had a lot of trouble. Jacob Washington had some good passes that he caught. So there's work to be done all around, but defensive line got to get better. They got to get to the quarterback, got to stop the runs, and then you got to get the quarterback when he's passing. O line got to block for their quarterback. If Eric can get that fixed, then it's going to be much better for John Everett moving forward. George?
I think the talent gap between Shaw and Eric isn't as wide as the scrimmage proved to be. I think John Eric just needs to be fundamentally more sound, like you said, in the trenches. That's what the biggest thing I saw. Um, Quarterback has no experience whatsoever. He's going to learn. It's going to be an on the job, on the process, on the job kind of training, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and where's your guys that are going to get off the top on the outside? You're replacing some people outside in your skill areas. Defensively, they've got to be more physical. They've got to be smarter. There were a couple of boneheaded penalties they took in that scrimmage that didn't need to happen. There was a touchdown that got taken away behind a personal foul, and it was
Illegal
like
crackback right in front of me.
illegal
Yep.
crackback. Yeah, and it was
Football,
like I
softball.
looked at you. I looked at you and I just shook my head, Jared, when that particular play happened. I just shook my head. It's like, this is the same old song and dance, man. They've got to change the narrative. Change the narrative. Be more fundamentally sound, you know. And look, I love my school, but I got to keep it real. I went there for 4 years, graduated, and they did beat Riverdale in the playoffs last year. I was about to tell you, VK, that Riverdale might be interesting, but Eric did beat them 42-7 in a game all three of us were at in the wild in the it was a Thursday night game before we
Yes.
did Bell Chase Parkway on Friday night. Um, John Eric, if that's the bottom of the barrel as far as how bad it looked in the scrimmage, you got to start having optimism. If they've reached rock bottom in the scrimmage and they can only get better from here, maybe that's the narrative they need to focus
They,
on. Hey,
they,
look,
they will get better. They will get
they
better.
will
Yeah, they will get
surely,
better without a doubt.
surely. I mean, and there's opportunities, like I said, in that non-district. What hurts is the district itself. Where are you going to get big power points? What Everett's going to rely on, obviously, winning the district, going undefeated in district. What they're going to need is Kennedy, Chalmette, Bird, Landry,
I,
Vanderbilt to
I think
win.
Kennedy Kennedy gonna win. Kennedy is going to
I
win.
mean,
I don't
Kennedy's
think
gonna
that's to
win.
worry about
that's
that.
what I'm saying. What I'm saying is about the power points.
Oh, I know what you're
Those
saying. Yeah,
teams they play, they're going to have to do some damage outside of Everett. Chalmette. More so Chalmette and Bird. If they have relevant, Chalmette went to the North Shore district, right, with Slidell and Fontainebleau and them. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Who's Selden? Who's Gibson? Who is Gibson? For sure, you talking about? Go ahead, George.
That's one way. I just saw the comment. No, I was saying, Chalmette went to the district with, I think it's at Slidell, Fontainebleau, and North Shore. I think.
Yeah,
Remember they
yeah,
divided up the Slidell district, the
yeah,
North Shore district.
yep.
So I think Chalmette's with them, and that's an opportunity for
Yeah.
them. So if you air it, you hope Chalmette does some damage there and wins games at swing games. As far as Bird, look, that's a commodity that's going to be better than last year. I think last year was just like VK said at the beginning, it was a lean year for them. They'll be better. I still think Eric has a chance to do something in that game, being that it's at Memphis. So our points are going to be at a premium for Eric early, but late when they get into district, those teams in the district, how many of those outside games? You mentioned Riverdale's schedule. I see 3 wins in the non-district. I don't know if they beat Patrick Taylor. I can't disappoint my fan base, man. That's my new fan base, Patrick Taylor. But yeah, I know. But no, they will beat Haynes. They will beat Crescent City. There's another game in that schedule. I think they lose, and I think it's the last one before Everett in the opening
I,
game of the district. Newman, Newman.
I
They'll
hate to
lose that game.
I hate to say this. I think they got a great chance against Patrick Taylor. You have to think Riverdale
They
was
replace him a lot.
young. Riverdale
Yes,
was young, and they replaced. They don't hardly replace anybody. So Patrick Taylor losing a lot. They're going to be competitive, but at the same time, and I understand everybody saying, yeah, Eric beat the brakes off, but Riverdale looked different last year. This is not the same Riverdale team. They were
different
competitive.
coach.
They played good with a coach last year. They left, but did a good job getting them competitive. And also, Riverdale for the first time in a long time having over 60 players on roster. That's huge. That tells you that that school is in a huge and also serious transition to compete. So with Coach Foster, I'm curious to see what happens if they transition hopefully to another level with this program, especially with returning players coming back for Riverdale this year. So that's going to be an interesting to see more than anything else. I can see if it was a program being down, but a program that's starting to get on a rise a little bit, it's going to be interesting to see what happens,
They
especially
were they
with
were
the
six
second.
and four. They
Yes,
were
it was
6-4
Six
last
and
year.
four.
Riverdale got to the
When have
playoffs.
you when have you seen Riverdale with a winning record? When was the last time we saw that?
Dante
It's been
Jackson.
a minute. It's been,
Dante
Dante
Jackson.
yeah,
Jackson,
that
senior
team.
year,
That's a long
last
time.
one. So that's a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? I think Willie Bush
It's
was
been
still
a
there.
while.
So it's crazy, man. But but George, but like I said, it's gonna be key for Eric for those games that district. It's
Hmm.
too bad for what the district is right now. We just know that maybe 3 of the 4 might be improving. We hopefully it could make it kind of more of a kind of a competitive league. Is Higgins still in 4A or is
No,
Higgins back in 5?
Higgins back to 5A.
Okay, now we wonder what's going to happen with Higgins. They had a great start and all of a sudden they fell off. So, we know that this district is bad, but we're hoping that maybe some kind of a rise or something to happen this year. I don't know. But
They'd have to surprise me.
yeah, they're gonna have to surprise all of us. That's just what it is.
Hmm. Because West Jefferson was, look, last year. What did the coaching staff tell us, Jared? They hit the brakes at halftime. They had 42 at halftime. They said they could have got 80 if they wanted to, but they pulled all the reins back in that second half. West Jefferson is a non-competitive entity. Their coach is back. He changed his mind because he was just
Wait,
about out the
wait, wait,
door.
wait. Holmes came back.
Yes, he did.
I didn't know that. I
From
thought
what I
he
was told by
stepped
a
down.
couple of people, yeah, he came back. I can't confirm or deny, but their former play-by-play voice told me that Holmes came back, and I was like, because I had asked him, I was like, wait a minute, I have seen nothing. On Crescent City Sports, they have a list of coaching changes in the prep scene,
Yeah.
um, for around the state. and I didn't see West Jeff on there. So Holmes is back.
Okay.
So I have to presume he's back because if he's not, if he wasn't there, West Jeff is still a high profile program. Even though they've been bad, you would see them on the coaching changes. So they're not on that list, and they were terrible last year with them. They won't be. I don't know if they'll be any better because look, there's a lot of internal stuff going on at West Jeff. To me, I feel like that they don't get the athletes that Eric gets, that Shaw gets. They don't get those West Bank premier athletes like they used to on the regular. It used to be a heated battle, not just on the field, but in the, who you're going to get. And Eric has seemed to monopolize things in that district, and I feel like that they're just playing better. And look, Higgins, Clifford Harris, as you mentioned, PK had a positive start, but the wheels fell off, and they still made the playoffs. And they were 14-14 in the second quarter of their playoff game before they got ultimately dismembered by Tioga. Tioga won 49-14, 49-14, scoring 35 straight points. So, yeah, Clifford Harris put a playoff berth in that group last year. I don't know what they're going to be this year. East Jeff, Bonneville, young teams. Bonneville made the playoffs last year, got whacked by Alexandria. Um, so, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's mid
Look,
May.
look.
The-
I'm gonna say this, and we get back to John Eric, but y'all saw West Jeff last year. Wasn't that the biggest team y'all saw the whole year?
I
Hmm.
think I think on the offensive side, yes. Defensive side, they were a little small, but they was very, very quick, very fast, very quick
Hmm.
to the ball.
West
I
Jeff
think
had
I think
size,
that
bro.
I think the thing about West Jeff, and let's be honest, let's be real honest. I said it once and I'm gonna say it again. West Jeff has a bigger problem than football more than anything else. It's the whole school, and it starts from the top. Starts from the top, right then and there. Like I said, if they have the right administration that's going to focus not just about athletics, but who has a all aroundness at the school to worry about the academics, to worry about the behaviors, the troubles, but also cares about being an all around school and being good in everything in academics, athletics, all that stuff. They need that right person off the top if they're gonna have that great all around school. You have to think West Jeff right now is possibly, and they're possibly still a F school or a D school, and that's not good, and that affects everything. It affects everything for any student to come to West Jeff. They don't want it, and a lot of even students that comes from the Harvey Gretna area, and they know they got kids that has good potential in classroom and any other area, they're not sending them kids to Jeff. They're not. But they see what's going on around at the school. They're not sending them. They're like, we're going somewhere else. We're not wasting time in West Jeff. And that starts on the top. So they got to work from getting a good administration and then a person that wants all around this at the school. Academics, the core, and athletics, being an all great all around school. And then that person can bring in an athletic director that cares and will support the athletic department in itself.
Yep.
All right.
Once they get that, West Jeff can make progress. Right now, they are in hell, not just in football, but in all their sports.
Here's the question. John Eric, district champions, we all say yes, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And they still make the playoffs. We all say
Mhm.
yes to that.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Moving on. All right. Last topic of the day. We're going to talk about John F. Kennedy. So, John F. Kennedy, I think, went 9-1 last year, and they
Lost
got
to y'all.
lost to Shaw in the quarterfinals.
Yep.
As okay, Coach Elfage, as we all know, has done a marvelous job. Where is my video? Coach Elfage, there it is, has done a marvelous job at John F. Kennedy, what he has done in 2 years, two quarterfinals appearances. So yes, now he wants to get over that hump. They bring back what up, Coach Trey? Coach Trey, like, he got the eyes, Coach Trey. My boy, Coach Trey, right there. Coach John Kennedy. So they bring back Monty Dansberg at quarterback. You have Kingston. I think his last name is Kingston Jones. They call him Cheetah, one of the fastest guys in the state at wide receiver. They have to replace the whole defensive line from last year. That's one question. They also got to replace some defensive backs. I'm not worried about the defensive backs because I think Elfage is one of the best defensive back coaches in the entire state, and especially in the city. So I'm not worried about that. I already said it. With the Lafayette schools moving out, Turlings, STM, and LCA. To me, there's 4 teams now that's in the running for Division II Select State Championship. And I think Kennedy is one of those teams. Now, Kennedy, they looked very good before the rain came. I think the rain killed everything. Everything. But before the rain came, Monty was on the money with his passes, getting out, scrambling outside the pocket, keeping his eyes down the field, as you see right here, as he finds Kingston for another touchdown. Look, I think Kennedy's going to be in the running once again to make a run for the state championship, without a doubt. All right, Seldom. I see Seldom. I see. Yes, Eric. I saw the 4x1 relay. I saw it. Yes. Y'all lost. I don't care about 1 week of practice and all that. I don't care. Y'all lost. Okay? It ain't no coulda, woulda, shoulda right now. Y'all lost. That's it. That's it. And Armani was running down that last leg. I saw it, boy. Armani was hustling, boy. He got y'all second. Give Armani another 20 meters, y'all would have won. But we ain't going with that. Y'all lost. But back to Kennedy. Look, I'm telling you, man, I think Kennedy's going to be good. We're going to see what the D line brings. They're going to get better and replace the whole D line. The only other issue is, Kennedy just don't have as much depth as the other schools. But these are nothing but athletes, VK. Athletes that's going to run from side to side, up and down, make plays regardless. And I'm telling you, like I said, they're going to be one of the 4 teams in the semifinals this season, VK.
I can definitely agree with you on that. I think, the biggest thing they're going to have to do is more like rebuilding on the defensive side once again for the second year in a row. Replacing D line is going to be big there, but they're going to have to really step up early and step up immediately when the season starts more than anything else. And the key, like I mentioned with last year's team, can they make stops? Because we know offensively that Kennedy is going to be really good. Now you got a returning quarterback, you know what I'm saying, especially in Darrensburg. The question is, and I don't know if you've seen it in the scrimmage or not, was Darrensburg playing both ways?
No, just play quarterback.
Wow, now that's big to hear because that's the biggest thing I was concerned about.
He didn't.
Because
He barely played both ways last year.
okay, okay, no, but I'm saying because you remember Coach Alphage was saying that he's a really good like safety corner and stuff like that.
Yeah, but he
that he's
getting
gonna
he
play.
getting a lot of looks for quarterback. A lot of schools are coming after Monty Dansberg.
I was just saying that's what Coach Alphage was saying last year in the interview,
Oh,
and
go
I was just
straight. That's what we saying, brother. Just the spring. That's all we saying. Yes. My info of the D line being replaced that came from Coach Elfage himself. So, but yeah, we know that, and I'm sitting telling you that semifinals looking good. Go ahead, VK.
yeah, it's just our expert. That's just our expertise, Coach Trey. You know what I'm saying?
He knows.
We know that your team is going to be really really good, Coach. And like I said, it's a fact. Experience is a factor. You know what I'm saying? But I know from the jump they're going to have to step up. But offensively, hopefully a lot of the receivers can take some pressure off of the main receiver. I know Rallo Ganya, I think, is gone. So, Hopefully that receiving core continues to improve, taking some pressure off on Monty. And Monty with the experience last year quarterback is going to help him tremendously this year. And seeing some of the film, I mean, he looked like he has improved throwing a lot. Looked like he has really, really improved his tuning, and that's a good sign for Kennedy. That's what that was the thing we was kind of, we seen some potential in that Terrebonne game, but we seen he was getting better and better towards the end of the
I got
season.
I gotta pause you right quick because DJ 13 just said something that is totally incorrect. I'm gonna show you what he says. We made St. Louis Catholic coach retire and be a family man. No, you didn't. St. Louis Catholic coach is now the head coach at East Ascension. Thank you very much. Let's get
Mhm.
that right. He is all right. He is now in Gonzales at
Accuracy,
a
big
five
boy.
at a 5A school.
Yes,
Slow your
indeed.
roll, DJ.
Okay,
Better be
Coach
coming
Trey.
with
I
facts,
got you.
not fiction, sir.
Got you, Coach Trey. I got you for the comments. Cool. Go ahead, VK. Finish off.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it off like this, man. I really think this Kennedy team can really, really handle some business this year. They got an interesting you got their schedule like nine district. I know they got Eric, they're hosting them. That's a target game definitely for us.
Hey,
Um
look, I got Kennedy's schedule, and that non-conference schedule, those first 5 games. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Week 1,
Big, big
Scotlandville comes
fish.
to town. Week 2,
Mm,
Warren Easton comes to town.
mm,
Week 3, they go to St. Amant. Week 4, they go to St. Paul's. Week 5, John Eric goes to them. Then district starts. Week 6, and they in a brand new district. Week 6, Booker T. Washington goes to them. Week 7, Sophie B. Wright. They go to Booker T. Washington. They host Sophie B. Wright. Week 8, they host Livingston.
mm.
And now the two teams that are new to the district. Week 9, they host De La Salle. And week 10, they are at Landry. That is their schedule. And that non-conference schedule is tough.
The non-conference is really, really tough, and I mean that's going to help them tremendously. And
Yes.
big ups going to Coach Elfage on that one. That's going to prepare them a lot, especially for the playoffs and for district. Because I am not going to lie to you, De La Salle is going to be the team that they're going to have to go against to have a chance for a district championship. And don't get me wrong, this De La Salle team should be very improved after last year because we know how young they were and injury riddled they were. There should be a lot of
mhm.
improvement of Coach Jarrett's team. So that's going to be interesting in itself. But I really think, that non-district will prepare Kennedy, win or lose. It's going to help them down the line going forward. This Kennedy team is going to be interesting. It's going to be really good.
George
I'll
Peppers.
say this about you mentioned De La Salle. Before I get to my spiel about Kennedy, and I have a couple of questions for you, Jared, about Kennedy. But you mentioned De La Salle. People forget, as injury riddled as they were, they got to the playoffs. They were ahead of E.D. White in the fourth quarter of that playoff game, and E.D. White had two late TDs to get the win. My friend, whose son Kedrick Richardson is now going to be is going to be at Nichols, and he's probably going to start. The incredible linebacker, defensive end linebacker, he's going to go to Nichols, but they had E.D. White on the ropes, and E.D. White escaped. Dallas South played great that night. Now to Kennedy, Jared. Amani Darrensburg is now what, a senior, right?
That's right.
Okay. What I wanted to ask you about him, what did you see from him as far as decisiveness, maturity, and really being more of a quarterback this year than you did last? I know it's just a scrimmage, but what did you see in that scrimmage?
What I saw from Amani this time, um, when trouble pursued him as far as the defensive line coming, he would step up in the pocket and make the throws, kept his eyes down the field. If he had a scramble to the side, outside the
Right,
pocket, he kept his eyes down the field and would make the play throwing the football. That's what I saw. I didn't see that too much last year from him, but seeing it
right.
this game against Bonneville just in the spring, I said, okay, so he's able to scramble and keep his eyes down the field looking for the open receiver. So that was very impressive from what I saw from Armani Darisburg.
What you want to, and that's what you want to see from a quarterback that's a year older and has more experience. We saw them against Terrebonne last year, and they could have hung 50 on Terrebonne, but there were a lot of missed assignments in that game. Kennedy was shot themselves in the foot with penalties. They still won the game fairly convincingly, but they could have scored a lot more than what they did. And credit Terrebonne for hanging in, but Kennedy was so much the better team. Now, when you
Yeah,
look at the schedule, you mentioned the non-district. Y'all say non-conference. This ain't the NCAA, guys. And the wording is whatever.
go ahead, man.
That being said, there ain't no gimmies in that non-district.
Woo.
There is no gimmies in that non-district. Will they win more than they lose? Sure. The Everett game might be the closest. I don't want to say it's a gimme because Everett on talent, if they mature into that game, can give Kennedy a little bit of problems. Where's that? Where does Kennedy play their games at Pan Am?
Pan Am, sometimes at Joe Brown, but they call Pan Am home. Go ahead.
Okay, so we might be going there for week 5. We might be going there potentially. If we don't get Aaron Shelmet week 1, we may get him in week 5. We'll see. But again, and a little plug for the fans of our show. Stay tuned. We're gonna get into conference and talk and get into what games we're looking at. We're looking at some pretty good matchups this year. A couple of salty ones that might be out of our area for sure. We did this. We did the Central Louisiana road trip last year. This year, what we're looking at? Oh yeah, it might start early. So just stay tuned to everybody out there. But for Kennedy, for me, Jared, I look at it like this. They gave you a heck of a fight in the quarterfinals. They gave your alma mater a great fight
They
in
did.
that quarterfinal game.
They did.
And
Yes.
there was some nonsense. There was some nonsense late that happened that really, I don't want to say it completely took it away. It was a very competitive football game, and Shaw was able to eke it out. And would it have really mattered? Because Shaw wound up getting pasted at St. Thomas More in the semifinal. Kennedy probably would have met the same fate. The thing that concerns me, and y'all mentioned it at the top, for Kennedy, is their defensive backs. They're going to be young. There's not a lot of game experience on that field, on the backside of that on that defense. That's why I'm wondering in the non-district, they're not going to play a real potent passing team. St. Paul's is a running team. Aaron is what they are. Their approach set. Um, Goodness gracious, I just completely
East,
mind
East,
blanked.
East is going to throw. Scotlandville's going to throw. Everett's going to
Sterling's.
throw. They don't know. Saint Amant is going to throw.
Saint Saint
I'm saying
Saint
them all. I
Paul's
mean,
Saint Paul's usually mix it up with the run and pass. So
yeah, they do, but
they do it a lot more than you
it's
think. They really do it a lot
yeah.
more than
Kenny
you think.
Sayers.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
Kenny
do it.
Sayers does a great job there. And that's gonna look. Every matchup in that non-district is going to be very dicey. I think they'll win a majority of those games. I can see they can run the district. I mean, they can run the district and win it. De La Salle, like you mentioned, VK could be an interesting challenge, but I feel like the Cougars, based on what we know they're going to bring back offensively, um, I think if their defense catches up, and it probably will. Look, Coach Alphage does a great job. It's been spectacular in his first 2 years. This is one of the best 4 teams in the state in Division Two.
Select.
With that said, they're going to have to grow a little bit defensively. They're going to have to grow as the season progresses. What you want to see is them get better defensively. Offensively, you already know what they're going to do. They're going to score. They're going to put points on the board. They'll average north of 30 to 35, maybe 40 points a game. That's how potent that offense can be.
All right, hold on.
But to me, I'm sorry.
Coach Trey says they got 3 returning starters at DB. Coach Elfay says he had to replace a couple of them. I'm gonna go with Coach Trey. I'm gonna go with Coach Trey. All right, go ahead, George. But the whole D line they had to
I
replace
mean,
because
at the end of the day, I expect, yeah, that is facts. I mean, that to me, they're going to have to do something there. With that said, the schedule, there's no impossibility on that schedule. There's no game that, oh, they can't win that. I could be facetious and say they'll lose to Aaron, but I'm not stupid like that. So, no. Um, but there's no game on that non district, guys, that they can't lose. Okay, that they can't win. I'm sorry that they can't win. I think the schedule allows them growth, but the biggest thing is their district as compared to Eric's district. You're going to get power points. You are going to get some massive power points in that district, and non-district. So Kennedy.
Kennedy got
Let's say,
Kennedy got five A teams they playing.
yep. If they go 9-1 in the regular season, 9-1. If they
Number
lose one of those
one,
5A
number
games,
one.
yes, exactly, exactly. The road to the dome goes through Kennedy. So if they do 9-1, they will be a 1 seed with that schedule. Yeah. I mean, Shaw will probably compete for them with y'all schedule. Y'all got Saints. Y'all got Edna Card week 1.
We got Edna Carr. We got they got West
St. Charles.
got Lafayette Christian Academy. They have Rummel,
De La Salle.
and they got De La Salle. Yep, yep.
But at the end of the day, Kennedy VK, I think Kennedy is a bona fide contender for a state title. I think this is the year a New Orleans school could potentially find their way back to the Caesars Superdome. And hopefully, if they get there, one or two of us could be, oh, all three of us could be in some facet contributing into that game. Would be really awesome, wouldn't it?
Be
Absolutely.
fantastic, fantastic.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna put a close to this show tonight, as we, had to make adjustments to the show because Coach Blake Dean fell ill and he couldn't join us.
Well, the
So
Southland Conference tournament
yes,
begins tomorrow. It will
hmm
start tomorrow. As you and know,
as this
big
guy
shout out.
just interrupted me before I finished.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go. I'm gonna let you finish, my boy.
No, you ain't let me go. I'm going. I'm going.
Nah, see, I'm,
You
I'm
ain't
being
let me go.
nice.
I'm going. Coach Blake Dean couldn't make it. He fell ill tonight, so he's getting ready for a game tomorrow. So, but we're back tomorrow night. Before I let VK talk about the Southland Conference, which I want him to do. Glad we like putting people in the dome. We gotta make our picks, DJ. We gotta make our picks. But we're back tomorrow night, 7:30. The new head coach of the Landry Buccaneers, Coach Nick Foster. He's going to join us tomorrow. And right after that, at 8:15, we're going to have Coach Wade Mason Jr., the new basketball coach of the St. Augustine Purple Knights basketball team. He's going to join us tomorrow. And then we're going to talk about one other high school football team for about a good 15, 20 minutes. Give y'all our thoughts about how they're going to do in the upcoming season. Now I'll pass it over to VK Jones.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Without interruption.
The Southland Conference tournament will begin tomorrow in Hammond, Louisiana, at Pat Kenneally Diamond Alumni Field. As Northwestern State will kick it off against McNeese at 9 a.m. The number 1 seed Lamar, they'll take on UIW. That will be at noon. The Nichols Colonels, who is the 2 seed, they will take on Texas A&M Corpus Christi. That'll be 4 p.m. And the UNO Privateers, that are the 3 seed, they'll take on the 6 seed and the whole school Southeastern Louisiana. That will be a 7 p.m. start possibility. I might go live from there for the Hash It Out show. I might be over there tomorrow, possibly. But it's going to be a good one. Go out and support these teams in Hammond, Louisiana, and we will have some coverage this week of the tournament on the Hash It Out show pages. So we definitely appreciate it.
Mason will be back in time for the season. He was watching on Instagram. I saw him pop up. Don't know if he still is, but he was. But Mason will be back for sure when the season starts. George Peppers, you got some last words?
Yeah, I was just piggybacking of what VK said, and hopefully I don't get interrupted like you. But I'm just playing when I say that. I'm with you on the Southland tournament. Listen, uh, I want to know. I know VK is a Nichols grad, but if it's Nichols and UNO in the final,
Well,
can they
here's
get to know? I'm sorry, they
they're
can't
not they can't because if those two win
because they're in the
tomorrow,
same pod. Yeah.
they meet Thursday at 7 p.m. If they both win tomorrow, they meet Thursday 7 p.m.
Oh, seldom. Look at this comment. Y'all see this, huh? Look, I love my two brothers from another mother right here. Tell them I can't do.
He talking
If
about in
there's gonna be
regards to
smack
John
talk,
Eric. What he's saying in regards to John
I
Eric.
already know. I know where he's going. I know, but I gotta keep I gotta keep it humble. I gotta keep it real. But no, back to the Southland. Look, Blake Dean, we hope you get better. You fell ill, and we're sorry you couldn't be with us tonight. But coach, get better. And on a personal note, I know Emmanuel Peppers will be doing the games for UNO as long as they're in this tournament. And hopefully they're playing on Saturday, meaning they're playing for a Southland title.
Yeah.
VK, I love you, dude, but blood, that's my
Absolutely.
brother. And he has a chance to potentially, UNO can get to the NCAA tournament. Um, Man, look, that would be really, really cool. How about LSU baseball today before we go out? They look pretty good. 16 of their last 21 games they've won. Don't look now, boys, but LSU going to be a 3 or 2 somewhere, and they're going to scare the living daylights out of somebody. And their softball team made the supers. Unfortunate end for Lafayette and Southeastern. Southeastern, great credit to get to the final of their regional against Alabama. Lafayette choked it away against Baylor, winning a run rule and getting beat 4-3. Coach Trey, go Privateers, dog. I'm sorry. I mean, I look, I would not be mad if either or Nichols or UNO wins the Southland. That means somebody from Louisiana is going to make the NCAA tournament besides LSU. And good luck to Tulane as well in their tournament in the AAC. Remember, they went on that magical run last year after a miserable season. So, and game one of the Eastern Conference Finals is tonight. I hate to talk about that because my Knicks are not there.
Choice.
Darren,
I
it's
got a
your
choice.
fault. Damn it,
My fault.
it's your
It's my
fault, sir. You put that dark cloud on me.
I ain't put
Jalen
no
Brunson
cloud.
broke his hand. He wouldn't have broke his hand if you wouldn't have said that. But no, all kidding aside, Indiana, great credit to Indiana. Rick Carlisle does a great job there. Um, and Indiana, and the big shocker, and I caught a lot of grief at work. I know you and I talked about this on the way to the scrimmage last week because we both presumed Denver was good to go. They're gone. And man, I caught massive, massive grief at work. Holy cow. I was ducking everybody I could, but I didn't do a very good job. What happened to your Nuggets? They want my Nuggets, first of all. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm already suffering. So, but yeah, playoff basketball still going on. Conference tournaments. We wish all the Louisiana teams the best of luck. Tulane, LSU, UNO, Nichols, Southern, Grambling. We hope all of y'all can do great and make it happen. We want to see a lot of boot representation in the NCAA tournament. Let the boot be represented loud and proud, right? On that note, Jared, it's all yours. No interruptions, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. We want everybody back here tomorrow night, same time, 7:30.
Oh,
You put that finger down.
I
You
saw it.
put that finger down. You saw it, huh, George?
I did. I did.
You got something to say, bro?
I'll say nothing.
You got something to say, VK?
I'm gonna give my NBA thoughts tomorrow, and also wishing all the luck in the world for the UNO Privateers and the Nichols Kernels for tomorrow's games and everything else. And personal note, shout out to everyone who's been supporting me and everything else. And yesterday, my daughter graduated from pre-K and everything.
Congratulations.
She's moving to kindergarten now, to a new school and everything. So, continue to pray for me and my family and everything else. You know what I'm saying? It was a great all around day. So, very, very proud of my daughter. And I definitely appreciate everyone just continue with our prayers, man. But yesterday was an unbelievable day for me personally.
Everybody that support this show, we thank y'all so much. We thank y'all so much. And keep doing
Hmm.
it. Keep doing it to bring y'all the best in sports in the state of Louisiana. Back tomorrow, 7:30. Like I said, Nick Foster of Landry and Wade Mason Jr. of St. Augustine High School. For VK Jones, with George Peppers, I am JB, the sports guy. We're back tomorrow, 7:30. Y'all take care.
Head coach of the Hahnville Tigers boys basketball team, and you are watching the Hash It Out Show.
Thank you for watching the Hash It Out show. Please like,